Wala ko, hindi ko pag-iwan. So, PK は6は。ito.
Sir, good evening. Sir, sir, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Sorry. Sir, actually, I have logged in through my laptop also, but I don't know, my name has confused in it. Can you make it as the co-host? That is the problem I'm waiting for. I'm trying to change it, but I don't know what happens with it. It is not getting changed.
Hello, ma'am. You can start.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall I? Yeah, I have just logged in through my phone. I think some problem is with my laptop. So I'm going to proceed it with my phone only. I hope the network connection is good, and I'm going to also share a PPT which doesn't require much technical thing, so it will be fine. Okay, let me start now. Good evening, dear participants. Good evening, the organizers. And it's my immense pleasure to be a part of this program. And I would like to thank all the organizers. Special thanks to Bennett sir for providing me this opportunity. Um, okay, now I can. I hope I can jump into my concept. I'll stop the video and I'll share my PPT.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you. Here we have. So here, the today's topic is emerging. Actually, it's a contemporary topic: mixed methods research. Many of you would have come across. Actually, there is. I don't believe in showing PPTs and more. My PPT won't be that much contentful because I believe it is just a support for a teacher, so I don't have much content in it. The content will definitely from my speech, and I assure you that my lecture for this next 2 hours is complete will be completely engaging, provided you also participate in it. So the first thing we are going to discuss is philosophical foundations of mixed methods, paradigm integration, and pragmatic approach. This is the title which is given to me. I would like to know, ma'am, can I have the participants also answer? Sorry.
Yes, sure, ma'am. If anybody wants to query about it.
Yeah. So I will, before I start, I mean, I share my screen. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Before I start, I would like to have some answers. Then we can share our PPT. When if it is necessary, I'll share it, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. We have more than 154 participants here. Can I ask you by name, or will you come volunteer? Anyone? Any volunteers? It's just an interaction, ma'am. I know all our faculty members here. It's not about questioning students. It is just an interaction.
Yes, we are faculty members, ma'am.
Yeah, I know. That is what I'm saying. I'm not, don't take it in a wrong sense that I'm questioning and pinpointing you. It is just about interaction and making it more attractive. Sorry, interesting. Okay, ma'am.
Excuse me, good evening, ma'am. I'm a student, so I would like to volunteer for that. You can
Thank
go
you
ahead and ask me a question, ma'am. I'll try
Trisala.
my best to answer. Yes, ma'am.
Trisala, very good, Trisala. Thank you for your volunteering. Okay. What are the two different types of research we are doing in the current days?
So the
So far.
different types of research that we have are qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methodological research.
Mixed methodological research, and this topic is more about mixed methodological research. And you said qualitative and quantitative. Can you give any example for qualitative research?
Qualitative research or quantitative, which one did you say, ma'am?
Qualitative.
Qualitative research, you want the examples, right? Qualitative?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, for qualitative. Or
Oh,
at
okay.
least you tell me what is the
An example for this qualitative research would be one which is focusing on ethnography, where a researcher works in ethnographical studies. And I've also recently completed my paper in ethnography and have it published also under the guidance of Bennett, sir. So ethnographical studies comes under this qualitative research, ma'am. That is the example
why
that
do
I
you
would like to give.
say that ethnographical study is a qualitative research?
I would like to say that ethnographical studies is a qualitative research because it implies the qualitative components that is present. It has the
Why?
features of qualitative research because it involves an immersive systematic study of a particular social or cultural group in its natural environment.
So, hope you would have done this. You have selected some group
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
interviewed
Yes,
them.
it involves
Asked,
culture and team
observed.
dynamics. It involves a variety of team dynamics. Yes, ma'am.
You observed about how they perform, or you asked some interviews, in-depth
Yes,
interviews.
ma'am. The
You asked them.
questionnaire session. Yes, ma'am.
So that is what you have a questionnaire and you evaluate it. That is what
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
calling as qualitative. And
Qualitative
I need
research.
somebody else to answer what is a quantitative research, and can you give an example for it? Somebody else. Thank you, Trishala.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else can answer what is a quantitative research? Dr. Sejal? Or Esther ma'am? Hope everyone is here.
Hello. Namaskar, ma'am.
Namaskaram, sir. Pankaj, sir.
Ma'am, quantitative research it implies with the numbers of ये मतलब कि ये आंसर देता है कि हाउ मैनी मतलब कितना कितना नंबर्स में बात करता है क्वांटिटेटिव
Yeah, sir.
ये स्टैटिक्स में बात
Thank you, Pankaj, sir. It's all about numbers. So, for example, we can say we have collected some stock market data, and we are working on how it is reflecting the economy and some kind of analysis. Or as Trishala ma'am mentioned, ethnographic. She had conducted a ethnographic study in the same context also, and she said it is a qualitative research. In the same context also, we can go for a quantitative research. For instance, how many people are following this particular culture, or how many are. So likewise, we can have some kind of numbers or data, and we can work on it. So those kind of research, we call it as a quantitative research. And in sometimes we feel that, for example, I'll come with my own example. We are all in an online learning platform, right? So many of us think that online learning is effective because we can do it at our own convenience and it will be more interesting. So many of us think like that. And there are a majority of the times students, when it comes to the students' perspective, there are students are not always engaged in online learning. So I want to study my research. For instance, my research is all about learning how online learning affects student success. So if this is my research, how this online learning is affecting student success. So we are taking it in a positive sense. To start with, we will take it in a positive sense. How this online learning is affecting student success. What kind of research do I have to go with? Anyone? Do I have to take a qualitative research or a quantitative research? How online learning affects student success? Anyone?
Qualitative, ma'am.
Qualitative. Ma'am, Asma, ma'am, you
would
said
say
it is
both.
ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
can
I
be
would say
both.
both.
First, normally, as we are used to certain kind of as a practice, as a contemporary, sorry, as a tradition, we used to usually go for a qualitative research. Asma, ma'am, you said it's
Yes.
a qualitative research. What you will do under this title to know how online learning affects the student success? What will you be doing?
Yes, ma'am. Like if we'll go and interview these people, we will get more deeper insight because since the question is how, okay. So I think it is a open-ended question. So we should go with the qualitative. That's what my insight
Okay,
says.
very good, very good. How online learning affects student success? Okay, you have taken a questionnaire and you survey the people and you feel that there are certain factors which is really, for instance, they are learning at their own pace and it reduces their commutation time. Those kind of thing you learnt about it, and I want to know how much of the commutation time in this get reduced, and will it can it be used for preparing something extra? For example, this is all about a 10th standard student studying, or a 12th standard student studying, preparing for a NEET examination or for a JEE examination, and I want to know whether this online learning is successful. First question comes into my mind is whether it is making them success. Before I want to know about how much successful they are, I want to know whether it is making them successful. So, what is the success ratio after this online classes? So, here for this, I need to rely on quantitative data. I cannot directly enter into this qualitative data just because, as you mentioned, it will take more depth and we can analyze with the help of the focus group. Yes. Okay. So with the focus group and all kind of things, we can do go for all these kind of thing. But before I start the study, I want to know whether this online program is making success. So I have to go with the quantitative data to know what is the success rate before I get to know what are the things which is making them successful. Okay. Anyhow, my intention is not to identify the success rate. My intention is to identify. My research objective is to identify how they are making successful. As you mentioned, we have it reduces their commutation time and some kind of thing. But even then, there are some places I require to go for quantitative. So, what this mixed method research is stating us today is this method is right and that method is wrong. There is not no such things like this is the only way you have to go. Whenever it is required, you can go for combination of both of these method. This is what we are talking about mixed method research. And now I'm getting into the core of it, foundations of mixed methods. So these two mixed methods this mixed method is built basically on this qualitative research and on the quantitative research. So both are the foundations of your mixed method research. So here we don't say that this method is right, that method is wrong. Rather, we are saying that a combination of these two methods, whenever it is necessary, your research is primarily focused on qualitative. Let it be, but there are some instances we need to prove your result. So in that sentence, we need some quantitative data. It is no crime that you can go for quantitative data. So you can go, sorry, you should not go for a quantitative analysis when your research is completely qualitative, because even in our classrooms, even in when we are guiding our students, we used to ask them whether it is a qualitative study or a quantitative study. Students, they say it is a qualitative research, and we don't allow them earlier, not today, not in the recent year scenario. Earlier, what we normally do is we just don't allow them to have such kind of thing. You should not have this one and that one. So we don't allow them, right? So here things are getting changed now, and mixed method is not at all a new approach. It is started in the early 2000s. So it is around, it is 15 years old, and all of us might be using ChatGPT when you are asking for some research analysis or some kind of help from the ChatGPT, because this is what we are getting from our students when they bring out the research report. They used to have this when we are giving a small research report before we start our main project. We used to give them some research report. What do they normally do is they come with some research design. They used to say mixed method research, mixed method research. In the recent days, we are often saying that, and there are many faculties, no, you have to go only for qualitative or for quantitative. They used to say like this, but things are getting changed. Um, we have to adapt and we have to prove. The point is to make the research, to attain the research objective. It is not about this is the only path you have to take to reach your goal. We can go by any way, but only thing is you have to attain your research objective. This is the core principle behind your mixed method research, right? And now, for instance, another example, right? There is a study on public health campaigns, which is measuring vaccination rates, as well exploring people's belief about vaccine, right? So why, for example, you want to know how much is the vaccination for, let it be COVID or some, let us take the uterus vaccination. I'm not sure about the name of uterus cancer prevention vaccination. So I want to know what is the rate of uterus cancer prevention vaccination. As well, I also want to know why people are not opting for it, or why people are much more interested toward it, whatever the case is. So here we can have, I want to know a public health campaign measuring this kind of vaccination. So it not necessarily have to be measuring only the quantitative, like vaccination rates, how many people are interested towards this vaccination. It is not just measuring quantitative. We can also go for qualitative. Why, if there is a gap, why people are reluctant to have these kind of vaccination, we can go for those things also. That is what, again, I'm giving so many examples just to make you understand what is a mixed method research is. And now my topic, even in the previous class, yesterday's class, you would have all these kind of explanation about mixed method research. And now our topic is about pragmatism. And what pragmatism? What do you mean by pragmatism? Anybody? Pragmatism. Have you heard of this word called pragmatism, or what is the meaning of it? Nandita ma'am? Are any volunteers? Nandita ma'am? Or we can hear from Richa ma'am. No one is answering.
Real
Any
life
volunteer?
experiences, ma'am.
Yeah, Sarita ma'am, thank
Pragmatism.
you.
Basically means giving the logical solutions. मतलब
वही मैं भी बोल रही थी.
practical.
Real life experiences, practical solution.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Pragmatism in our research context is what works to answer a research question. So you may have many ways. You have a research question. What are the things are you going to derive answer for your research question? You find any ways, but you have to find some answer for your research question. And pragmatism says use whatever methods best solve the problem. There is no such, this is the formula, this is the way you have to solve this problem. These are all the step marks we are going to award you for creating this thesis. No such things we are asking. We are asking you have create some identify a problem, find the solution. The solution can have multiple ways of attaining it. So this is what pragmatism is all about, right? So here, this pragmatism, my topic is all about pragmatism and paradigm shift. So I'm going to focus more on this. Pragmatism has some principles. So this pragmatism principles, first thing is this pragmatism is a problem-centered inquiry. So whenever problem-centered inquiry, so one second, ma'am. So what do you mean by problem-centered inquiry? First, here, when you are starting any research, it should start with a real world problem. It always begins with a real world problem that guides the choice of the methods. For example, in our instance, why students, there is an online, we are talking about online learning platform, right? Why students are dropping out of online program? So first thing, our any research as per pragmatism principle, it should start it with a problem centric thing. So first thing, why students drop out of online program? So because why, you may ask me, every time when you're conducting a research, you have to have a question, research question. Then that is the way we are already doing. Then you are again talking about pragmatism, and the basic principle is problem-centered inquiry. Yes, pragmatism is not at all new, but what it is suggesting is there are many researchers, what they normally start with is instead, rather than starting it with a research question, they frame the title or they identify some tools, and they fix in their mind, I'm going to do a questionnaire based study, and I'm going to analyze these things. So they normally start with this kind of approach. But as per our mixed method research, the pragmatism principle says that you always start with a problem. You should have a problem, and that problem is the center of your research. So this is, in our case, why students are dropping out of online class. This is our problem, right? And the second one, the second approach, sorry, the second principle is what works approach. What works approach is the second principle. So here, the focus is on a practical solution, not adherence to any philosophical purity, right? So people used to say that, for example, when you are conducting some kind of motivation based studies, you may have some theories, theory X, theory Y, and people are from different backgrounds, right? So this is a convenient thing for me. Okay, let me go generalized. There are some theories, right? So what people usually ask you to do is go by these theories, have this generalization. This theory states that you should start with this step and the second step, third step. So our mixed method approach and this pragmatism principle says that you should not go for any kind of theories or any kind of philosophical purity. We don't want to have, already the people said about said like this. So I'm going to find the gap, and I'm going to work on identifying all those going a step ahead of it. No such thing is required. What you have to do is first you fix a problem and focus is on the practical solution. Don't say that only by interviewing or only by doing all these things. Whatever is feasible for you, you can go for it. So practical solution is important, and not the philosophical purity. That is nobody want that. I'll give you an example to understand this second principle of pragmatism, that is what works approach. If student survey or statistical data doesn't explain student engagement, you have collected some statistical data or you have asked some students about some questionnaire you have prepared and asked surveyed the students, and it doesn't provide you with what you are expecting, right? So why the students are all the questions they have answered, they said that the program is good and I'm ready to come, and all those they it is contradictory to what is really happening. Students are dropping out from the online class. When you asked about the engagement of the online class, they said very much good, it is everything is fine. This is what they are telling. But so what your research says that no, there is no connection between the student engagement and the dropping out. Is that so? No. Practically, normally as a human being, we know that there is some connection between dropping out and student engagement. So we need some supplement data. So we have to focus on some kind of groups like focus group. So your survey is not enough, then we are going for a focus group. So wherever it is required, you can go for another kind of data, another kind of analysis. So that's what explained in your what works approach, right? And third comes another principle, pluralism and methodological flexibility. So what do you mean by pluralism? We have a simple word, pluralism. We are talking from the beginning, we are talking about this. It is not a single type of analysis. We can have both the analysis. It can be a qualitative or a quantitative. So all types of data and perspectives are valid. Any kind of data, any kind of perspective is valid. So you can have qualitative data and quantitative data, and it can coexist. This is what the third principle. And as I mentioned, we can have more methodological flexibility. And the next thing is truth as dynamic and contextual. The next principle is truth as dynamic and contextual. So, ma'am, some people are trying to enter the room. Can I admit them? Or will you take care of it, ma'am? Kesu, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I already admitted.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. So we have the next principle is truth as dynamic and contextual. So what do you mean by truth as dynamic? Anybody can explain this statement? I think this is the fourth principle of pragmatism. So that says that truth as dynamic and contextual. Let us see, only talk about truth as dynamic.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, please.
Ma'am,
Your
truth is conceptual because truth change by concept. इन situations में चीजें बदल जाती हैं तो हमें
Exactly. What you said is right, ma'am. Because you used to say with an example, right? When you are looking at a 6 from the other side, it is 9 to you and it is 6 to me, right? So you are on the opposite side of it. So both of us are right. So there is no such thing like this is the truth. This is the universal kind of truth. So it has to be followed everywhere. So truth is not absolute. It depends on situation. So for some situation, certain thing is good. For example, employees are getting motivated only when they are given monetary rewards. Some study says that, but there is an entirely different geographical area different industry and a different age group of people, or something is different. And there, when you are conducting this study to know whether there is a connection between the monetary rewards and the motivation of the employees, that says there is no connection at all, then we cannot say that there were 100 number of researchers proved that there is a connection between monetary rewards and the employee motivation. In this situation, this is not truth, right? So though that result is not truth, and this is the truth for this situation and this area. So truth is not dynamical. Truth is dynamic and it is contextual. So we should as in our study, we can, in our instance, what we are carrying from the beginning, student engagement may vary by culture or institutions. In some areas, students are more keen to online classes. In some areas, students prefer only offline classes. So it differs from area, culture to culture. As Trishula ma'am was conducting ethnographic study, she is very much known to this kind of thing. And the next principle about pragmatism is integration of theory and practice. So this is the next principle. So here, theory informs practice and practice refines theory. So theory informs practice and practice refines theory. What do you mean by this? So we have some theories, and that theory tells us this is how you should do this, right? So it makes us to practice certain things in a way. And this practice refines the theory. When you are practicing certain kind of activity, that will help you to come out with some theories. You would have seen in many of the fields, there are some basic theories. Even I can quote from my own finance thing. Markowitz portfolio, if you are familiar about it, stock market, Markowitz portfolio was given by Harry Markowitz. And later, some people have come, like people like Jensen, Trainer, Sharpe, they redeveloped it and they used it and they identified, they practiced the theory and they come with some more kind of solutions and they refine the theory. And the next person, he comes and they refine the theory. Likewise, in your field also, you can see there was an old theory that was get into practice, and over a period of time, some people would have added some value into the theory and reframed the theory. So that is the another principle of pragmatism. So if at all you have some theory, when you are practicing it, you can improvise it, keep on improvise it, and that practice will become another theory in a few due course of time. So this is what the another principle. And next one. Here, what people are saying is research should lead to action, right? And the next principle is consequence-oriented knowledge. So when you are about to conduct a research, you should know what will be the consequences. So many of the researchers, when they are conducting, they come with limitations. Even in the PhD thesis, we used to notice that. I used to evaluate PhD thesis from various universities. There are many researchers. What they normally do is they used to have this one, limitations. Yes, limitations is a must part in your research. And there are some researchers which have even 2 pages of limitations. So we are doing a PhD thesis for at least for a 4 years of period, minimum of 4 years, right? So after doing, after dedicating 4 years for a research, we say that these are all the things. There are not just one or two things. There are many things which stopped me from getting more into this research. If you are giving like this is not at all a good research. So when you start, you should know what will be the consequences. So when we have that knowledge, when you are writing your thesis, you will find hardly 3 points to write limitations, right? So you should have a thorough knowledge. When I'm taking this, what will be the consequence of it? Can I get more data? Will it be shared? And will it lead to the entire? Will it lead to reach my question? All those things you should have clear answers. So that is much more important. And the next principle about pragmatism is consequence oriented knowledge. I know this is more of theory because this topic is not about your analysis. This is about basics. And this basics, when you are very clear in this, it will be much more helpful. So then and there, I'm asking questions just to make you make this interactive, right? So again, the next question is fallibilism. What do you mean by this word fallibilism? Maybe for many of us, these words are old words of our dictionary, but very few of us, it is a new word. So let us know from you. Fallibilism. Anybody? What do you mean by fallibilism? Akhil Pandey, sir? Yes, someone is answering. Thank you. Fallibilism. Fallibilism. Yes, Suchita ma'am. Suchita ma'am, you want to say something about fallibilism? Oh, your topic is more about chemical. Somebody says chemical sciences. Okay. I'm not more into chemical sciences, but if possible, I'll try to incorporate. And someone is asking for PPT. Sorry, I forgot to share it. And as I mentioned, PPT has no connection with what I'm talking. So I'll share anyway. Yes, someone is Rituraj sir. You have answer for this?
मैम हम हिंदी में बता पाएंगे किसी चीज का पतन होना मतलब
Sir, can you please say it in English? Yeah, this is a crowd where we have all sorts of people. So it will be fine if you say it in English.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think it means error.
It means?
Error.
Error. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Shaili, ma'am. Please unmute. Somebody wants to unmute. Asta ma'am said, right? Thank you very much, Asta ma'am. Actually, it is not error. Fallibilism means knowledge is final, right? Which means there is no end. All conclusions are open to revision with new evidence. So you say something, and I may come and say that it is contradict, right? I may revise it. So these are all the principles. Fallibilism is knowledge is never final. So we may say that there were n number of researchers which is conducted in this particular study, and so we are not going to add anything further. Somebody may come in the future and they say that no, it is not like the thing all the other people have said, because we know that right from the beginning some said the earth is flat, and then comes people, no, it is round, and some people said there were 9 planets, and some today are saying it is 11 planets, and Pluto is not at all a planet. People are coming with for hundreds of years we believe that this is what the solar system is, and nowadays people come and say that no, this is not the truth. There is something else. Actually, this is what we have learned so far, what we are taught so far is absurd. this is actually, this is all about this one. And they prove it with some evidence and all. So that is what fallibilism is. So knowledge is never final. So you can have some conclusions, and that conclusion should be open for revision, right? So that is why we have in our research implications for further research, right? So that column. So that is what to be added when you are conducting a mixed method research. I just have a recap of all the principles related to pragmatism principles, pragmatism of mixed method research. Then we can proceed for paradigm integration, right? So first principle of pragmatism is any research should be problem centered inquiry, and if there is a problem, whatever works better, that has to be done for it. So the second approach, second principle is what works approach. So the first approach, problem centered; second approach, what works approach. And the third one is so sometimes you may think this is the best one. This is the, you said qualitative or quantitative. But the third one is, if you want to have both, go for it. Pluralism. So methodological flexibility. You can have both the research coexist. Qualitative and quantitative can coexist in your research. So that is the third principle. Okay. And the next one is some says that truth is dynamic, right? The some already some people proved something, and it is a universal thing. No, not necessarily. It, to your condition, to your environment, it may be different. So truth is a dynamic thing, and it is contextual. So that is another principle for pragmatism. And the next principle what we had seen is integration of theory and practice. So whenever you do a research, have some basic theory, do some revisions on it, practice the theory and do some revisions on it, and again practice that revised theory and keep it as a new identify the new things in it and come with a new theory. So this is what, sir, actually I have some problem in sharing my PPT, and this PPT is, I'll share it in the group. PPT has nothing to do with, it has simple points what I'm discussing. So wait, let me try if I can share it. Display over other apps. So when I'm trying, it says something else. Sorry, I couldn't share. I have already shared it with Bennett sir. Yesterday itself, I had shared the PPT with Bennett sir. I'll also share it in the group. Please bear with me. And here what we have is integration of the next one, integration of theory and practice. And the next principle is whenever with some kind of analysis, then you should have a consequence oriented knowledge. So that is much more important. And the final one is your fallibilism. Knowledge is never final. All conclusions are open to be open for any revision. So we should have implications for further research in our research as per your mixed method research. Earlier also we have this, and it should be included, right? So this is all about your pragmatism principles. And now we have this one, paradigm integration. The next thing which is given to me, assigned to me about mixed method research is paradigm integration. What is meant by a paradigm? Anyone? Paradigm? Do you have anybody? Any volunteers? Dr. Sijan and Trishula ma'am is again back to the class. Can you say what is a paradigm? Okay, let me.
Ma'am, framework,
Yeah,
framework or a model.
integration.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry,
Ma'am, it means
it is a
framework
process
or
combining the. We're going together. Yeah, go ahead, Asta. Please go ahead.
ma'am, it means framework or a model.
It means a framework or a model. Thank you, Astama. So it's a framework or something model. That is what we called as a paradigm. Here, mixed method research, we are going to integrate various models, various framework. That is what we are going to study under your paradigm integration. So paradigm is, it's a worldwide view. So how everybody is looking at this kind of research or this kind of topic. That is what called as your paradigm. Or we can say that it is a philosophical stances, right? So there is a philosophy about this one. So we have to follow this. It's a worldwide view or a philosophical stances that guides how a researcher understands. So paradigm means what is the worldwide view, and that will help or some, as mentioned, that there is a model that will help the researcher to understand reality. We call that as ontology. What is the reality? What is whatever the topic you take, what is the reality? So it some framework which helps you to understand the reality, which helps you to gain more knowledge about things, and which helps you to take the values. So what should be taken and what should not be taken, what is much more important when when you are conducting this research. So that, and what are the methods to be followed. So paradigm is a model which helps you to, or a framework which helps a researcher to know about the reality of the research, the knowledge, to gain more knowledge about the research, and to have some values, and to identify the methods to conduct a research. In our case, mixed method research, paradigm integration says that mix of, integrate or combine the different methods to create more knowledge, to know more realistic view, to more detail about the research topic, and to have more values, and to use more methods. This is what we call it as paradigm integration. Traditionally, to make it easy to understand, traditionally, quantitative research, it works on a principle called positivist and post-positivist paradigm. And here, this mixed method works on the principle constructivist and here in this quantitative research works on the principle positivist and post positivist paradigm, whereas qualitative research works on the principle constructivist or interpretivist paradigm. Can anyone say what is a constructivist or interpretivist paradigm? Any guess up? Constructivist paradigm, qualitative research, because we are always used to this qualitative research and quantitative. Positivist or post-positivist paradigm. What do you mean by that? Positivist or post-positivist paradigm. Anyone? Please. Anyone?
Yeah, constructivist paradigm is a research framework that asserts that reality is not objective and external, but rather a subjective product of our mind.
It's not objective, rather than it's a subjective thing. What you said is exactly correct, ma'am. So that views knowledge is constructed by individuals through experience and reflections rather than passively received, right? So that is constructivist paradigm. And to understand about quantitative research, this is very simple. What we are talking about post-positivist or positivist paradigm, which means that we used to set a hypothesis, right? Quantitative methods in relies on the scientific method that assumes a single objective. Reality can be understood through this empirical data or measurable data. So what we believe in this post-positivist approach is we set some hypothesis, we take some data, we find the relationship between those two variables. Let it be some money and income and their lifestyle. So our income and the interest towards some online games, like a kind of thing. We have a research study, and what do we normally do is there is no association. We set some null hypothesis. We say that there is no association between the income level and the what is that called? Interest towards this online games, and we do it with some tools, and then we find out that whether there is a association or not with the help of p-value. So this is what called as positivist paradigm is. So here we set some hypothesis, we take some data, and we identify whether there is a relationship or not. So this is positivist or post-positivist paradigm. So it is a single objective. We set a single objective, and we will rely on that, right? And whether constructivist is we have don't know such objective thing. We will go for a subjective base, right? So we will ask all the participants. One may give for example, it is a focus group of 12 members or 8 members, and we interview about certain things. Each one comes with certain problem. Each one comes says some two of them may be very much contradict to the other 6 of them in the group. So we record each of these voices. We analyze with the help of the experts, and we do some kind of semantic analysis or whatever it is we do, and come with the analysis. So that is what called as your constructivist approach. And here in our mixed method research, we are going to integrate these two approaches, paradigm integration. That is what we are talking about. Okay, how are we going to, what are the strategies for paradigm integration? We call that generally this is called as types of mixed method research or strategies for paradigm integration. We have many types. To start with, this is the majority of the people are following this particular type of paradigm integration or mixed method research. The first one is sequential designs. Have you heard of this? Anyone? Just raise your hand. Anyone? Have you heard of this? Paradigm, sequential designs.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, what do you mean by the sequential design, or what? We have two types inside it, right? So what are the two types of sequential designs? Asma, ma'am.
Sequential exploratory and sequential explanatory.
Explanatory. Thank you very much, ma'am. So what they're saying is, first, start with, you are ready to go for a mixed method research. You have you want to use both qualitative and quantitative data in study. So you are planning for two types of research, right? So this, as per the sequential design method, we are advised to go for either an explanatory research or a exploratory research. And let us start with explanatory research. And what this explanatory sequential design, ESD, we call that, is all about is, there are two distinct phases. First, in this explanatory sequential design, we are starting with quantitative design, and then we are moving to qualitative design, right? So this is all about your explanatory sequential design. So how should we start, and what are the things we should follow, and what are the process of it, and the examples, tips to be used we will see in detail. Right. So any example can you give, Ma'am Asma ma'am, for this explanatory sequential design? So this study, we will start with
Yes.
this study.
Okay, so say for example that we have used a survey to find out the barriers that which of the, say for example, technology adoption. So what kind of barriers people are facing. And now if you want to know in depth that why this problem is coming, so to get a deeper insight, we'll go with the qualitative. So this is
Yes.
explanatory.
Thank you very much, ma'am. This is explanatory. So to get the details inside, we have to go for qualitatives. So we are starting with identifying the numbers. So in our own example, let us come back to our own example. How many students withdraw? We are talking about our online learning disengagement, right? So here in this study, first thing we have to start with how many students withdraw from an online course every month. So every month, how many students are withdrawing from an online course? We are starting with this quantitative analysis. And then what are we going to do is, so here what do we normally do is, we identify some 10 centers. Every month we take the data of students churn rate, right? So dropping from the course. So we get these data and we will come kind of interpretation. But after analyzing this, we come with some interpretation. And this is not enough to know about student disengagement. We just have identified there are students getting dropped out from the courses. And that rate is very high. This is what we have identified. And as per explanatory analysis, we are supposed to proceed further. Here, we are going for a qualitative phase of it. So what are we going to do in this qualitative phase is, we will follow up with some interviews. We will identify the entire student may have a general, sorry. Sorry. We may have, am I audible? I think some.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Some issue. Okay. So we may have some set of questionnaire, and we can go for interviewing with all the students who have already dropped out, and can have some interview kind of questionnaire kind of survey, and we can identify a focus group. Some set of 10 students or 8 students from those who have shown out from the course in the recent months. We have identified some 3-4 focus groups, and we can interview them. In-depth interview we can ask. So we can observe how the students behave, how these students, sometimes they may give some 1 month notice kind of thing, or they may say in advance, I'm going to disconnect from this course. They may say in advance, and then we can observe them. Any kind of qualitative analysis we can follow. It is not necessary when you have gone for a quantitative analysis of this type, then you should go for only for this this kind of qualitative analysis. Mixed method approach has no such thing. We have already says that what works approach. This is the principle, second principle of your mixed method approach. So you can use any kind of analysis, any kind of method, right? So here it starts like this. The process of explanatory sequential design starts with conducting a quantitative research first. As you mentioned, surveying, experiment. We have to start with the quantitative research, and then here the survey is different, right? It is about a very big group. So we are collecting numbers. First, we starts with a quantitative research. It may be an experiment or a survey, and then we are going to analyze the results. So we have to identify what is the surprising factor from this research. So for example, people from this particular area are more dropping out. Are people in this particular batch, we are conducting some 4 batches, online batches, and people in the evening batches used to tend to drop out frequently. So we identify this is the problem, and this is the surprising element, right? So we have to identify the pattern, or we have to identify the surprising element in it. And then for this particular group, as I mentioned, people in the evening group are ruling out, they are discontinuing. So then we have to follow up with qualitative interviews and focus group interviews with this kind of people. So, and then we can integrate both the results. Actually, the online course is very much good for these three batches of students. Only people of this particular group is joining out often, and this is the reason. You may have some interviews and you can quote this. This is the reason. So your complete objective is achieved here. Why people are dropping out of your online? We have identified. We not just identify the problem. We have also are also able to receive some solutions for it. So this is the thing about your explanatory sequential design. And here there are some tips we need to follow in your explanatory sequential design. First thing is, have a clear purpose. Use qualitative data to explain or elaborate on quantitative findings. So always have a clear purpose to use your qualitative data to explain on your quantitative findings, because we're starting with a quantitative thing and that has to be explained very well. So that is your tip. And paradigm integration also. Here you should start with since we are starting with a quantitative approach, we should have a positive first, and then we can go for a constructivist phase. As I mentioned, positivist phases, we have identified how many students are dropping out and which particular batch is dropping out, and some kind of which geographical area is dropping out. So we have to identify, this is what called as positivist phase, and then we can go for why they are dropping out. So contextual understanding with the help of focus group, we can go for it, right? So integrated via pragmatic and dialectical stance can be used in this thing. And the next one is your, first we had seen explanatory, and now we are going for exploratory sequential design. Can anyone guess in explanatory what do we have? First is quantitative, and the result of the quantitative will further be analyzed with qualitative research, right? Now, the next one is in your sequential design is exploratory research, exploratory sequential design. Can anyone say what is exploratory? Where do we start first?
We will start with, yes, ma'am. We will start with qualitative research and then we will validate our insights with quantitative.
Thank you, Asma ma'am. Very, very good. So this is the what exploratory sequential design is. So we start with the qualitative research. We identify there are some problems in inclusive education, right? So challenges in inclusive education. So you start with the qualitative research. You are interviewing our teachers, right? So what are the challenges you face in an inclusive education? Like we have a different people from all over India. So and there are many kind of thing, right? So when it comes to inclusive education, what are the challenges you face? People say that it is lack of resources, it is lack of non-uniformity of the syllabus. So people come with many things, right? So here you identify so many things from this qualitative research, and then you can go for a survey, quantitative kind of thing. So that is what called as exploratory sequential design. So the process of this exploratory sequential design is, first you have to start with, there we start with a quantitative research. Here we have to start with the qualitative research first and identify the key theories. There may be, when you are starting with, actually when you are starting with a quantitative research, it will be very much easier. Explanatory is very much easier because we identified this is the numbers where we are missing out, and we can either work on those qualitative areas, right? But when it comes to qualitative, when you start with qualitative, there are so many things. When you are interviewing a focus group, people come with many reasons. So we have to be much more careful here, and we have to identify what are the key themes. With the help of many forced relationship or attribute listing model or any model you use, and identify the key theme, centered theme. What is the major thing all the people are talking about, or what is the major thing which is connected to all those things. So you identify the root cause of it, and then you work on those things. So develop instruments based on the theme, and then identify the data. You may go for getting numbers from secondary data, or you may have to go for a questionnaire based study, right? So that is exploratory sequential design. Is challenges in inclusive education, as we mentioned, can be started with a focus group interview, and as they mentioned, there is some uniformity of syllabus. People say that there is non-uniformity of syllabus. Then what do we have to measure is, so we have to identify what is the level of syllabus each of the we can use some scales to measure what is the toughness level of syllabus in each of the state at this level of at the standard of education. So we can have those things, right? So that is the next one. And then what we have is convergent parallel design, right? Convergent parallel design. What do you mean by this convergent parallel? Converging parallelly. Parallel in the sense, first we had seen explanatory, sequential we had seen. So one after the other we mentioned. So when it is explanatory, it is quantitative first, then comes the qualitative. When it is explorative, it is qualitative first, then comes your quantitative. And the next method is your convergent parallel design. So what is parallel? Can anyone guess something? As many of our students used to write answers from the questions what we have given. They just elaborate.
Maybe to do simultaneously qualitative and quantitative together.
Yeah, exactly. That is parallel in the sense it is making them to do simultaneously. Convergent parallel is conducting both the qualitative study and the quantitative study simultaneously. What is the purpose in the sense? To collect and analyze both at the same time. So you want to collect and analyze both the things at the same time. Then we can go for this convergent parallel design, right? And here in this, we'll have some example. There is a healthcare researcher survey patients and interview them during the same period. There is a healthcare researcher who surveys the patients. So, for example, he surveys about what is the survey something like he takes their blood group level or their heart rate levels, and he also studies about how much they people are prone to a particular disease, right? So their blood group level and prone to diabetic, right? So he's talking about, he's taking these number of he's taking as a numbers, and at the same time he's interviewing them, right? So while taking the numbers, he's also interviewing them in the same period. So, or for example, you can take he's interviewing. He's taking data about how many how much mg of medicine, a particular medicine, how much mg each patient is taking a day, and what are the consequences each of these is facing. So he can interview them to know about the consequences and the level of the level of intake of the medicine and the severity of the disease in them, are aftermath effects of this disease in them. So these two things are quantitative, and the thing about interviewing them is qualitative. So both the things they can simultaneously record. So whenever a patient enters the hospital, he can ask about the medicine he can ask about how much they are taking in and what are the side effects they are facing. He can also measure their heart rate and other kind of data. So he is simultaneously getting both the data, both the kind of research, and he can also, it is not about just collecting the data. Paradigm mixed method approach is how are we going to do it also, right? So integration occurs by comparing results. So he can say that whoever is having high mg of this medicine says that they don't feel fatigue, or they don't have any disease kind of, or whoever is having less whoever is taking less mg of this particular medicine says this kind of thing. So we can have both interpretation also at the same time. So we can collect the data at the same time, both qualitative and quantitative, and we can integrate the data and we can come with the results, right? So here what happens is both the perspectives, paradigms, positivist paradigm as well constructivist paradigm, both occurs at the same time. So each one has its logics and it will be merged during the time of interpretation. And this is complementarily and pragmatic, right? So this is what your convergent parallel design is all about. And now I want to know from Asma ma'am, we can ask some other volunteers, because thank you, you are making my work easier, because only it will be easy for I know every one of us know that when we get response from the participants, that will make us to proceed further. And this one is a very big problem with online classes. We don't see the faces, and we always in a when we are taking the class, this thing goes behind our mind, whether the people are listening or not. Are they getting bored? So when we have them in our classroom, we used to see all those things through our face reactions. But since it is not possible, it is better we can ask some questions and make it more interesting. And today's class, I have some of you people helping me believe that it is going good, and some people, many of you, not just Asma ma'am, there are many people who are answering. But I want few more people, because it is a crowd which has more than 150. So I want to hear from others about, come with some example and explain what is convergent parallel design. This is my research. This is what I'm going to do. If I'm going to do it as a parallel, convergent parallel design, this is how I'm going to do. Can anyone explain? Then I will feel that, okay, my part is over. Then we have some more designs, two more designs to see. I'll go to that only after you answer this one. Yes? Can I call out names? Prestigious, ma'am. Dr. L. Chandrakanti. No one. Do you get my question? And I have some. Still people are entering the room, and we are almost we are about to complete, and still I can see people entering the room. Okay, that is not a problem, because already we have many. And can anyone say this is convergent parallel? I just want to ensure whether you get my point. That's all.
Okay, ma'am. Can we say that if you're taking experiments and interviews together at a time, and we are collecting the data and integrating the findings will be considered as this convergent parallel?
Yeah. Thank you again, it's Asma ma'am. Thank you, Asma ma'am. What you said is right. I just want to hear from others. Okay, no problem. So here integration occurs by how is the integration occurs here is in convergent parallel design, we compare the results, right? That is a major part of your convergent parallel design. So some feel that those who are, as I mentioned, those who are taking less mg of a medicine feel that they don't feel the fatigue when it compared to those who are taking higher mg. And when it is also here, we are not, sorry, first thing is they say that they are not feeling fatigue. At the same time, we can also say see that the mg of sorry, the BP level of people who are consuming less mg is very much stable compared to those who are having high level of so we can compare, or sometimes it may contradict. People say like this, but this medicine is not working, so it may contradict. So simultaneously we can compare, and we are not just taking the method, we can also compare the result of it, right? So that is what your convergent parallel design is. So it has to converge to parallel, we know, going with both the things at the same time. And convergent parallel is trying to find a unified answer. After we have taken all these methods, we want to give a unified solution from both these methods. That is what convergent parallel design is all about. And then we have this one, embedded design. Embedded design. What is embedded? Please, somebody else support Asma ma'am. Not this time, it is not Asma ma'am. Definitely no. Yes. Embedded. Embedded in the sense, simple meaning of it. I'm not asking what is the research is all about. Embedded meaning.
Ma'am, embedded means wherein something distinct is surrounded and stuck within something else which is more distinct than the first thing. Meaning A, which is distinct, is stuck within B. And embedded herein would also mean that it can't escape B.
Yeah, it can't escape the, it is just to it, right? So that is what nested within another. So one method which is nested within another method. So as he mentioned, it can't escape from it. So embedded method in the sense, we are going to integrate a secondary, a different type of data into a larger dominant research study. So that is what called as your embedded research is. The primary method here, what normally do is it guides the study. So for example, there is a qualitative research, and inside the qualitative research, we are going to also have a quantitative research. So this qualitative, and while the embedded method will act as the one which is inside the primary study will also act as a supporting role. So that is what embedded design. So here, the key characteristics of this embedded design is we will have two methods. One method will be considered a dominant method. Here, so far we had seen one after another in the sequential method, and parallelly conducting in the convergent parallel method, we had seen parallelly conducting both the studies. But this embedded design, we have two methods, but one method will be considered as a dominant one, and the other method will be considered as a secondary method. So that is what is your first characteristic of a embedded design is. And the second characteristic of your embedded design is the secondary data. The purpose of your embedded data, the secondary data we are using is, right? So is to answer a different but a related question. So primary research has something to answer you, and this embedded data will also answer some question which is relevant to this, but which is not covered in the primary thing, right? So a relevant but an unanswered question of the primary data will be answered by this embedded data. That is the process we have embedded it into the system, right? So next one is here. How are we going to collect the data in your embedded design? Like your convergent parallel design, both the data can be collected simultaneously, or like your sequential method, we can collect it one after another, right? So the method of collecting data can follow the previous two methods, any of the previous two methods, but the thing is, one is dominant and the other one is secondary. That is the only thing, major difference in your embedded design. And the complexity is, this research is less complex than a fully mixed design. So, where in the previous researches, previous models, we are going to combine both the things and both will have its more advantages. Whatever the things we feel greater in both the type of qualitative research and quantitative research, we will have it as a fullest thing. But here, one of the type will be major and the other type will be a secondary part of it. So it will not affect the flow of the research. That is a major thing about your embedded design. And the next one is, can we have some examples for this? For example, primary method, example of an embedded design. We use a large-scale quantitative survey to measure the correlation between student complaining about a specific area of a campus and the number of accidents in that area, right? So this is the primary thing. So we are focusing on a quantitative kind of study. So what is the correlation between complaints received about a particular area and what is the number of accidents happening? We are going to see the correlation between these, and we are going to do that is the primary method. And that in that we are going to involve or embed a small thing into it, like we will have some interviews with a few students who filed complaints in that area. So we will have some kind of, it is not like an extensive focus group interview. We will identify few students and we will have some interview, right? So interviews are not the main focus here. What are we going to say is interviews are the not the main focus. Focus is a correlation between the number of accidents taking place, but there is also another factor. We are embedding it. What students feel about it, right? So that is the thing. So this is all about your embedded design, and the final design, that is a transformative and multi-phase design. Transformative and multi-phase design. Anybody? This is again, where people are, even though you people have already used about mixed method research, transformative and multi-phase design is not generally used one. Here we will be. It is not widely used also, right? So this method is driven by social justice framework. So not your transformative and design to understand what is the have a community-based participatory study addressing gender-based violence, right? So there is a community-based participatory study where people participate in the study. We identified a community and we will have some participatory study where we observe, we focus, we use some kind of focus group kind of thing, and we will identify the gender-based violence, right? So here, where we can go for 3 phases of this transformative and multi-phase design. So to start with, we will have statistical data on the incidents, right? So what is the gender-based violence happening? So whether the violence on women is more or violence on minus more. So we have to start with those kind of data, and then we have to go for some survivor narratives, like we can interview those survivors, and we can co-create a policy workshop. So we can create some kind of workshop. We can make them to participate in that workshop. There we can observe them, and we can identify some data. So this is what called as your transformative and multi-phase design. So this there are 3 phases, right, as we mentioned. So uses here this design uses a theoretical lens. So there is a theory. We used to see the happenings, or we used to derive at our research findings through this particular theory lens. We use this theory as our spectacle, or use it as our lens, and we will see the happenings of the world through this theory. So that is what your transformative and multi-phase design is all about. And that theory will guide the researcher, and that theory will help them to focus on marginalized groups, and that will be very much useful. So when you are doing, somebody said, Trisula ma'am, I think she was talking about ethnographic study. So if you are doing an ethnographic study, then this transformative and multi-phase design will be much more useful to you, ma'am. So here, what you have to do is, you have to identify a group and identify the theory which is relevant to your ideology. Then you have to work on that basis. So you have to collect both qualitative and quantitative data based on this. So that is your transformative design. And as I mentioned, we can have multiple phase for it. For example, you are going to have a long-term multi-phase study on educational equity, right? You can use this transformative study. So what is the educational equity? As I mentioned, participatory study about gender violences, gender-based violences. So these are all your different types of your mixed method research. Anybody have any doubts? I think we are at the end of the session. If you want, we can add some more point. If you want to ask anything about, if you want to know the tips of it, what are the things to be included, I can include. Already I have said more things about it. Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we stop with this, or you want me to go till 8 o'clock?
Ma'am, I have one doubt.
Yeah, ma'am. Asma, ma'am, please.
Like in sequential exploratory, where we are doing first qualitative and then going towards quant. So can you give any tips, like how it can be, like, make it more easier to integrate the findings in this type of research?
So your question is to integrate the findings of
Yes, ma'am.
quality, exploratory or explanatory, ma'am?
Exploratory, ma'am.
Exploratory research. So here what are we doing is, we are starting with some focus group of interview, right? Or it may be a focus. So first, usually you should have a clarity in the purpose of your study. What normally people do is they identify a focus group, and without majority of the time, when we are going for an in-depth interview, what people think is we should record all the things they are feeling about a product, or feeling about the theme of our research. Normally, what we have to do is we should facilitate them, right? So clarify the purpose. So this is what I'm going to ask you. This is my purpose of interviewing you. So if you are deviating from my point, they may come with many reasons. They may say, talk about irrelevant thing which is not needed in our research. First, you have to stay with your point and make the respondents also to stay with your points. So have some facilitating questions. So though it is an in-depth interview, when you feel that they are going ahead, then try to have some questions to get them back to your intent of research, right? So, so you can start by you have to start by restating why this research is all about. So you have to tell them, why am I conducting this research? That itself will make you help you to get the intended research, intended output of it. And then you can have a group emerging themes, right? So you can have some n number of groups you can have, and you can ask them to come with some this going to talk about this particular thing, and the other group is going to talk about only about this one. So if you are doing so, we can get more data, right? Qualitative data, we can get more data, and those data will be more relevant to your research also. And once the data is, actually your question is, how are we going to conduct this quality to a quantitative, right? Here, what do we have to do is, first thing, before you get into your quantitative, you should connect it with your existing literature. Does this confirm whatever they are saying, whatever the things you have collected from your research? Does it confirm, or does it extend, or does it contradict, right? So you have to check that one. And then you have to build the conceptual links, right? So you have to use visual tools like concept maps, thematic diagrams, or some kind of flow charts you can have. Even you can identify what is the relationship. As I mentioned, attribute listing. When I was talking about this, I was saying, right, attribute listing. So any kind of things you can use, and you can propose the hypothesis. Once the hypothesis is fixed, you will come to know that what data exactly I want from quantitative side. So this will be easy for you to conduct.
Okay, thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. And any other questions?
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for such a valuable session. But ma'am, I am confused in embedded design and a transformative multi-phase design.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Embedded design is here. Actually, all the mixed method research, what they advocate is we should have both the methods. It is not about only doing a qualitative or a quantitative research. We should have both the things. That is what your mixed method research is talking about. And especially in your embedded design, what it says is, you can have both the things. You can have your quantitative research and your qualitative research, but do focus on any one of this thing. Your primary part of your research should be quantitative. And then you can also have, for example, my research is primarily qualitative research. So I'm conducting an in-depth survey, in-depth focus group interviews and kind of thing. I'm doing a extensive qualitative research, and somewhere I need some data to be supported. I can go for collecting those data and to support my findings. So here my reliance is not more on the quantitative, but I rely more on qualitative design. This is what embedded design is. All the designs are talking about your using of both the research designs, but embedded, one of the design should be included in the other design, where one design is primary and the other design is secondary. So that is what embedded design is. And the next one, you're talking about multi-phase design, transformative design, and multi-phase design. Actually, earlier context, we used to see this as a separate designs, transformative design as well multi-phase design. So when I explain it separately, you will come to know. First, a transformative design. What do you mean by a transformative design? Here, for example, within a social justice or an advocacy framework, right? We have some social theory, or we have a social justice, or we say that this is to be followed. We have a law. This is how it should work, right? So as per this law, how this qualitative and quantitative is going to integrate. So that is what is your transformative design is. So as I already mentioned, it will be guided by a theoretical lens. For example, feminist or some disability or decolonial. It's transformative design is more about your social justice framework. I think I can give you some examples to make it more understanding. So, for example, there is a study exploring healthcare barriers for indigenous women, right? So, this study, how this transformative study will be in, it will also use as per our mixed method. It will use both the approaches, but here in qualitative interview, they'll capture the lived experiences. Right. So healthcare barriers for indigenous women. So what are the barriers, healthcare barriers women have so far experienced? So those things you can interview and get it as a qualitative. And in quantitative survey, you can measure the systemic access. Right. So disparities. What is the disparity? How many men are having, for example, medical insurance? How many people are treated? How many? This is the prevailing thing in India, right? So women, when they have some issues, be it a chronic issue or any kind of medical issues, they are not treated immediately. First of all, the disease is not at all diagnosed because the women are, it is not just the problem of the men, it is the problem of the women itself. They just hesitate and they don't go for the hospitals, right? So they feel that they used to have some home remedies and they feel that it won't be a much bigger problem. So let me, and it is for me only, usually the moms in there. So these kind of things, what I normally do is, this is why I'm talking about this particular topic. So they don't go for it. So we have to take a social justice, transformative in the sense there is a social justice we have to identify and we should collect both the things. And your multi-phase design, as I mentioned, there are 3 phases we have to follow. So exploratory phase, and then intervention or development phase, and then evaluation phase. So for example, even I have done a research recently with the cricketers. These cricketers are my set of, it is not always socially deprived thing when it comes to transformative and multi-phase design. It can be any group of people. So here my group is cricketers, and these cricketers, I want to know about their, I was measuring about their data, like what is their stress level. I used a stress scale. There is a set of questionnaire for already predefined questionnaire, and I have constructed arousal questionnaires for them, 25 statements for measuring the arousal with the help of a 4-point Likert scale. And also another thing, anxiety level. And apart from that, I want to know whether their HRV, heart rate variability, is good. And how is their heart rate variability? I introduced, actually my study is like this. I introduced some kind of visual imagery techniques and some techniques like some relaxation technique. Okay, for all of our understanding, people are from different sorts, right? So all of our understanding, I used this one, Jacobson muscle relaxation technique. So how they feel after the technique and before the technique. This was my simple research. It used a t-test. So before the technique, I asked them some set of questions about their anxiety level, their arousal level, and their stress level. Before introducing this particular relaxation technique, I interviewed all these people with some set of questionnaires for all these 3: anxiety, arousal, and stress. And I introduced a technique, and I also interviewed about their the same set of questions after this technique. I didn't stop with this. This is actually, what kind of research is this? This is a quantitative research. right? Sorry, qualitative research. So I didn't stop with it. I went for measuring the heart rate variability. So I, with the help of a doctor, I measured their heart rate variability before a set of matches. I measured their heart rate variability, and after introducing this relaxation technique, I measured their heart rate variability before some number of matches, some said 2 matches. I measured their heart rate variability, and I didn't also stop with that. I went for doing their what is their batting performance, what is their bowling performance. For bowlers, I take some bowling performance. For batsmen, I took some batting performance. I had some composite score for all these things, and I measured it in all the aspects. So that is what called as your multi-phase design and a transformative design mixed method. I think this is a very good example for mixed method research. Ma'am, hope you have some clarity, ma'am. Shaili,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much, ma'am, for explaining beautifully. And I would like to really compliment that the way you explain all the methods with examples. So it will stay with me for a longer period of time. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That's great credit to us. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, anybody else have any questions? I think there are some charts. Thank you, madam. Verify, very info. Okay, thank you. I don't think questions are there in the chat. Ma'am, any questions? Sir, ma'am? Professors? Someone is asking, what is the third principle? It was long back you have asked this. Sorry, I failed to see the chat. You were asking me about the question is just what is the third principle? It is about pragmatism principle you were asking, because that is the only principle we have discussed. It is pluralism and methodological flexibility, ma'am. That means we can have both the type of research. We can use qualitative and quantitative, and whichever is, as we have seen so many types after that, it will be very much easier for us, right? So thank you. Organizers, ma'am. Lisa,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, can I stop with this, ma'am?
Dear participants, any question? I think they have all clear about that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have one query.
Yeah,
Today
yeah,
we
please.
learned about mixed method research, and also we understood like that is known as pragmatic approach. So my query is, pragmatic approach, can we call it as pragmatic paradigm? The paradigm and approach, how are they both different, or are they similar? Or if they are different, then what is the uh, means what makes both different as an approach or as a paradigm?
A paradigm is a framework, as we already had seen. Paradigm is a framework. So pragmatism here, we talk about what works best to our research. So pragmatic approach is paradigm. We say that is a framework, right? And here, what works best. But when it comes to research, we cannot say that whatever works best you can go with it, right? So even though you have whatever works best, there is a way of taking all those things, so that only we have different types, as we have mentioned. So though we are asking you to go for mixing up any kind of research, we have certain methods, right? When it is when you are going to mix quantitative and qualitative in a way that quantitative comes first, then comes your qualitative, then that is what called as your explanatory research. And when it is explanatory, you should follow these steps, right? So that is why, though it is pragmatism, we are introducing paradigm for those pragmatism. Yes, ma'am.
So are they both different, approach and paradigm?
Yeah, approach and framework. Pragmatism says that we can have any thing. Paradigm says that there should be a framework. So both are contradicting thing. But what are we trying to do is, though there are many ways, each of these ways should have some framework. So they are different, and we are trying to put it together.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hmm.
I have one question.
Yes, sir. Sajjan, sir.
Ma'am, you have mentioned about parallel and conversion method. So after collecting the qualitative and regarding the mixed method, both qualitative and quantitative, by conducting the research data parallelly, collecting data parallel with qualitative and quantitative. So how do we interact? Means when we analysis, when we perform the analysis, how can we interact with this qualitative and quantitative? So can you provide one example so that we can understand?
Sir, actually, in conversion method, I mean parallel method, this is what you're asking, right?
Yes.
Yeah. For example, I had given one more example also while taking. Now we will go with another example. Teachers' attitude toward technology integration in your classroom. This is the method. Mean this is the objective of your. So how teachers' attitude toward technology integration in classrooms is our research. So here we have to go for conducting both the research simultaneously. So what are we going to do is we can have an open Likert scale survey. So Likert scale survey, what Likert scale in the sense we are going to have some n number of questions because people are from chemistry background. I'm sorry, explaining this. So we will have some 15-20 questions and we can have make them to answer in a agree, sorry, dissatisfied like kind of 5-point scale. We will make them to answer. At the same time, we will also ask them some interview with a few teachers, selected teachers, right? Or with all the teachers, we can have open-ended thing. So from the data which is collected through this Likert scale question, we are going to have a correlation study. At the same time, the view, we are going to have some semantic analysis or a thematic analysis. And then what are we going to do is, we are going to compare these two results, right? So this quantitative pattern, does the quantitative pattern matches with the qualitative pattern? So here we have asked some questions and make them to just tick on any of the 5 options or 4 options. And from the options they have ticked, we understood that teachers are not teachers are showing a negative attitude towards example, right? Integration of technology in their classrooms. But when in the qualitative analysis, what they normally it is mean that teachers are always welcoming the technology in their classrooms, but there are few factors which is making them to not use it, right? It may be the infrastructure problem that is not allowing. So we are combining so after seeing this, it says that it is contradictory. Teachers are welcoming, it comes from this research qualitative, it says that it is welcoming, and the quantitative research says it is they are not happy with the technology integration. So these both are contradictory. If it is contradictory, then we have to go further and identify what factor is contradicting. So that is what convergent parallel is all about, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, can you suggest some good reading books so that we can have a better understanding and we can study in depth?
Books for actually Cooper is good, ma'am. And I used to refer. The problem is remembering the names. I'll say you, ma'am. Give me some time. I'll say you the names. Those names are actually foreign names, so not easy for me to remember. It is. I think it is. Sage, there is a book in Sage publication, ma'am. I'll share the name of it, ma'am. I'll share the name of it in 2 or 3 books, I think I used to get from Sage publication. And there is one author, Johnson and Clark, I think. I'll share it, ma'am. Share the book names because I'm not very much sure about the author names. Those things are because these books are not we used to have Cooper and other things for traditional research. For mixed method, this specific thing I have to confirm with the author and tell you.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
also share PPT in WhatsApp group, ma'am. Ma'am, if possible, then also share PPT of your lecture in WhatsApp group.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, I'll share it, ma'am. But actually, I'm not in this FDP group. I'm in the resource person group only. I'll share it through Bennett, sir. I'll make him. I already shared Bennett, sir. I'll make him to share it, ma'am. I'll ask ma'am. Kaisam, ma'am. Can you
Okay.
please share the PPT, ma'am, with them?
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. We will share that about after this session.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Before we close, I just have a doubt about the WhatsApp group. I'm not in it.
Sir, you have to enter the when you have fill the form.
Yes.
Then the group, the WhatsApp group is there. So you have to enter the WhatsApp group.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you.
Any others? Any query from the participant side? I think all the participants are any clear or any doubt?
Ma'am, I'm trying to share the file in this chat itself. Let me do,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it is shared, ma'am. Thank you. Mixed methods. Please download it. As a PDF, I'm sharing it. It's a 1.5 MB file, so it is slowly uploading. I think it will take some 1 minute, I think, to get it uploaded.
Okay, now
Please be in the group, so you will get the, be in the Zoom. It is about to get uploaded, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am, you can have.
yes, you can. We will make the arrangement after this session. I will consider to our
It is shared, ma'am. It
minister.
is shared. It is available, ma'am, now. Please see in the chat, the PPT is available as a PDF.
No, it is not yet. Madam, your PPT is not yet in the chat box.
Yeah, no, I have shared it, ma'am. You please, maybe from my end, it is sent.
Okay, ma'am, we will send to the WhatsApp group also.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, ma'am, I'll do. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you, madam, for your wonderful session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us online today. On behalf of organizing committee, I extend my sincere gratitude to our respected chief guest of honor, a resource person, and all the teachers and all the participants for taking your valuable time to be with us. A special thanks to our speaker for their insightful presentation and to our technical team for ensuring a smooth, valuable session. To all the participants, thank you for your active engagement throughout the program. With this, we come to the close of our online event. Stay safe, stay connected, and once again, thank you all for being a part of today's section. Thank you, everyone. Dear participants, please join in time. Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Shall I leave, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
good night, everyone.
Good
Good night.
night. Good night.